My earliest memory of a library is the elementary school library we had at my school in Hollywood, Florida, which was St. Mark's Lutheran School. And it was called the Lions Den. The Lions were the mascot of our school. And in retrospect, looking back on it, it was probably about half the size of a classroom. But my memory walking into it in kindergarten was I had never seen so many books in one place before. And so my parents had always fostered in me a great love of reading as I was growing up. And so here was a place where I could find all of these books and read them over the course of my entire time at that school over the years. Whereas I wouldn't be able to purchase them myself. So those are my earliest memories of the library.
Do you go to the library with your family at all?
I do. They just opened up a brand new library near my home in Forsyth County, Georgia, just a few months ago. And so we took the kids there. My wife and I took the kids there just a few weeks back, and it was wonderful to see it. And they had a little kids area, reading area, with computers and games for literacy and things like that. And my 3-year-old just stepped right up to it. I'd never even seen him on a computer before. Stepped right up to it, and it was all very intuitive for him. And to just see him working the computer in that way and playing these games, and very quickly he sort of was like, "Go away, Dad!" Like he felt like such a big boy, doing all this on his own and working his little mouse and doing these literacy games. So it was a great thing to see. Like I say, my earliest memories being from when maybe I was just maybe a year or two older than he is now, to have the opportunity to take my children and maybe they're going to look back on it and remember the library the same way I did. So for me, a big part of writing is you will hear a lot of people say if you don't write every day, you're not a writer, or something along those lines. But I think it's different for everybody. And for me, if I'm sitting down at the computer and it's just not coming to me today, I'm going to go out and try to get influences and read materials, be they magazines, periodicals, or books or whatever have you, because maybe some of these other influences that I bring in are going to be what jars something loose, or some nonfiction piece of reportage that you read in a newspaper or a magazine, or a scholarly book about some kind of study or whatever have you. These things will come back down the line. So it's a bit circuitous. I may not go there with the intent of solving an issue I have with the book I have at the moment, but something I experienced through one of those avenues will come back around and maybe even spark an idea down the road. I mean, I'm not an economist, but I mean, to me it seems like libraries are just an essential part of our culture, and in so many ways they provide resources to people that can't afford those resources on their own, whether it be access to the internet, doing internet searching and things like that, or books, or subscriptions to magazines and newspapers that you might not be able to afford. The library is able to provide those for everybody. So to me, like education, it's one of the last areas where you should see those types of budget cuts. We need to really preserve that and keep that for future generations. So we make sure that as much information is available as possible to everybody, whether they can afford it or not.
What are your thoughts on book challenges and attempts to ban books?
Yeah, it isn't something I've ever experienced myself, but my general rule has always been that if you don't want to read something or hear something or whatever, don't look at it or listen to it. I mean, that's what choice is all about. And there are varied tastes for everybody, and what someone wants to read or listen to might not be what somebody else wants to read or listen to, but that's what the library is for. You can go there, and somewhere in that library are the things that you do want to read and the things that you do want to listen to. So go seek those out, and let the people who want to seek out others seek out what they want to seek out. My current project is I'm adapting all of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians novels into the graphic novel format for Hyperion, and I am also have my own graphic novel coming out in about 2 weeks called The Homeland Directive through Top Shelf Productions, which is more of a modern day conspiracy political thriller for an older age group, not for a Percy Jackson